Buenos Aires, amigos, amigas. I'm here with Roy Nolan again. He's a producer, director, cinematographer, a writer. He's an author. And we're going to do a part 2 interview, and he's going to tell us when he came to Mexico, how he got here, and what he likes about Mexico. And he's going to talk a little bit about his life in Mexico. So go ahead, Roy, please.
Okay. After 42 years of filmmaking in San Francisco, I decided I had enough of that. So I thought I'd move, I'd go where, I guess you'd call it retirement. I'd go somewhere a little bit warmer. So I decided I wanted to go to Belize. So we were going to go through Mexico. My partner at that time, Margarita, and I. So I bought a pickup truck and a Lance camper. And when we hit the road, we ended up going to Belize. I didn't like Belize, it was too hot and humid. But we met an RV group that was going to Panama. There was 12 big RVs, big ones, and they invited us to join us. So we ended up going to Panama, and we led the caravan because we were a pickup truck and a smaller cab over, and we went all the way to Panama City. And I like Panama City, but I wouldn't want to live there. And then we headed back. We were on the road for 10 months, all the way. But out of all that time, I decided I liked Mexico the best of all the countries that I'd been through in Central America. And so after we got back, Margarita and I split up for different reasons. And then I headed back to Mexico. I went to Guanajuato. I liked Guanajuato. And I had some friends there, and they spoke English. And I was going to buy a house there, but then I decided, no, there's no water here. It's up in the high mountains, in high desert. So I headed for the coast. And on the way I stopped in Chapala and Ayic, and I really liked Chapala. And this was in April, it was very warm at that time. So I decided why not look for a place here? Well, to make a long story short, I went with some real estate agents, and I found a place on the South Shore. Now, I grew up in the country on 100 acres of land, just outside of Ottawa, and so I liked the country, and I wanted to be on the lakeshore. So I found this piece of property on the lakeshore in the country, and I bought it. And the house that was on it had not been lived in for 35 years. It was falling apart. So I decided to rebuild it. I hired crews, local crews, and we rebuilt it. I redesigned it and rebuilt it. Anyway, after I finished rebuilding it, I decided I wanted to make some more films, in my life. So I was 70 years old, still young. And so I went to a show at the Cultural Center in Ayic, and saw this youth orchestra playing, and I met the man that trained them, and his name was Marvin Harthcock, and he was an engineer from California, and he had been one of the 3 engineers that was responsible for the first landing on the moon, and that was the beginning. Marvin and I became very good friends, and he introduced me to more people. And out of that, I made a film called Reformatting Retirement at Lake Chapala. And it was about a film about what people do in their retirement years, volunteering at different places and stuff like that. And it's quite a nice long film, but it's about all these people working in animal shelters and orphanages and old age homes and whatever. And then after that, I decided, why not make a film about, just a film about Lake Chapala. So I made my first film was called The Spirit of Lake Chapala. It was about everything that goes on between Mescala, Ayik, Chapala, Hocotepec, all the way on the North Shore. And all the things that are interesting that go on, music, Lake Chapala Society, everything else. And then after I finished that, I decided, why not make a film on the South Shore where I live? So I made a film from Hocotepec to Matsamitla to Petatan, where the pelicans come, and about where I live. And I call it In the Shadow of Mount Garcia. And so now I have these 3 big videos that were made, and they were very, very popular, and a lot of them were sold, and they were shown on television and whatever. And so I was asked to do a lot of films to promote orphanages and Lake Chapala Society and musicians groups and stuff like that. And I did that. And I did that gratis because I was doing it to help the people. I didn't do it to make money because I didn't want to do that. So so these are all orphanages films and stuff like that. So there's lots and lots of those that I made. So that's what I've been doing since I came here. And now I'm writing a sequel book to the one that I wrote before. And this is called Living My Dream as a Filmmaker in Mexico.
Okay.
And and each film comes with a half-hour video that is behind the scenes stuff that's shot behind the scenes about making the film, the videos that we're talking about. And so that's what I've been doing here.
Wow. Just for the viewers, I want to let them know, I just met Roy through we have a mutual friend, and I met Roy about 2 weeks ago, and this is the 3rd time I'm spending time with him. And I want to say, we can say this, there was a film, a documentary about 5 years ago that I saw that showed the Lake Chapala Society, and it also showed you. We were talking about it because I think you were on your front porch and in your kitchen. And I was in the kitchen in your home, and that's when I first saw you. And I thought, wow, what an amazing place. People helping others and giving back to the community and things. And then now, John said, guess who I know? There's a man, Roy Nolan, you gotta meet him, he's my friend. And John just did a video, we're gonna show you that, about him coming here. And you guys are both on the south side of Lake Chapala, and you're right off the lake. I mean, we can see in the background. Now, you've been here how many years at this
18 years I've been here.
18 years,
yeah.
Wow. So you talked about the open circle when we were talking. You were mentioning you filmed the open circles at the Lake Chapala Society. I've attended quite a few of those.
I did 9 years of open circle, and I did 365 open circle sessions.
Wow, amazing. And I watched the open circles before I came here because they're on the website of Lake Chapala Society. I watched a few of those, and then I attend those open circles sometimes. They're on Sunday mornings. They're great. Musicians, I've been following your footsteps. If you look into the backlog of videos that I've uploaded, not as good, nowhere near as good as you are, but I followed your footsteps without even realizing it. Without even realizing it, I've been following your footsteps. But of course, you're a professional, and I'm happy to be here with you. Anything else you want to say? You mentioned Dr. David Truly. I saw him play guitar.
Well, Dave Truly is a great musician, of course, but he and I have become good friends through Open Circle, and he wrote the song "Living in Mexico."
Yeah, I've heard it.
And I used it as a background in one of my films, and there's lots of good. I met Glenn Yarborough, who's a very, very famous musician, old-time musician, You know,
He was here on the south side.
he lived in San Luis Soyatlan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we became friends. But you know, you meet all these kind of interesting people that, and you become good friends with them. You know, and they don't care about your past, and you don't care about their past. You just want to be good friends. That's all.
Yeah, because once I started meeting musicians here 4 years ago, a little more than 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I met one guy, then I met another guy, and then I started shooting videos. They weren't for YouTube. I had no desire to do. I didn't know much about YouTube, but then about 2.5 years ago, I started shooting videos. A lot of musicians, restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I made videos from the Lake Chapala Society too. Became a member there. Well, about 4.5 years ago, and I go down there frequently. It's a great place.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know that you were so well associated with them.
Oh yeah.
So,
I did a lot of films for the Lake Chapala Society, pro bono, you know, and you know, to promote the Lake Chapala Society. And I did a film called Living Your Legend, which is very interesting. It's about Neil James, and I mean, my goal was originally to do a feature film on Neil James, you know, and she was must have been a very interesting lady. She lived to almost 100 years old, and she's the one that started the Gringo community in Ayik, and but all these kids that graduated became famous musicians and artists and
Zaragoza and
all those guys.
Lopez.
Yeah.
Because I've covered them. I did an interview with Senor Lopez, and I met him over at the Lake Chapala Society. But I've never met Senor Zaragoza, but I've covered a lot of his
Zaragoza's
artwork.
interesting.
All over it. Sloacan, Ahihik, all over. His artwork is in the videos.
Yeah, but Neil James fascinated me. She really fascinated. She started a school here for the kids and helped them get educated and all that stuff. So she's a very interesting lady.
And the history of that is on a wall, I believe. Senor Lopez painted. There is, because I've seen it many times.
Well,
there's a mural.
Him and Zaragoza and a few others. They painted all this stuff. And I filmed all that stuff of them doing all that stuff.
Amazing.
But I did some interesting things in my life, you know, which is very, very interesting. Like I just bought this incredible camera, new camera that nobody had ever seen before. It was this first self-blimp camera, if that means anything to anybody that's watching. Before that, you used to have to put these big blimps on the cameras to cover them, to keep the sound down there. And, well, about a day after I bought the camera, I got this call from this guy, and he said, I need your camera, and I need you. I said, what for? He says, I'm going to make a film in Vietnam. And I said, no way am I going to Vietnam. And, and so, anyway, I ended up in Cuba.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me when
I ended up in Cuba, and of course I filmed Fidel Castro and Che Guevara and all the other guys. And but I was there for 3 weeks. And I got in because of my Canadian passport and my National Film Board of Canada card. And because Americans couldn't go in. And so... that was very interesting stuff. But the book is full of that kind of things.
Okay, and your book's going to be out the sequel, or it's going to be out this year.
The first book, is going to be out in 2 more weeks.
Okay.
And the sequel will be out by the end of the year.
Okay, and will they be able to order that? People are going to be able to order your book?
No, it's a ebook.
Oh, okay.
Ebook or audiobook.
Okay.
It's going to have an audio version and an ebook, and it's on its own website. And
is that your website?
My website, not the same website, a separate website.
Okay.
It's called Living Your Dream at Lake Chapala.
Okay.
I mean, as a filmmaker, and so they'll go there to the site, and they click on there and they pay through PayPal, and then they see that they can read the book anywhere in the world, wherever they are, at any time, as often as they want, and they buy to read the book and to see the video that goes with it, half-hour video that goes with it.
Good. Okay. Now I want to say also thanks. I enjoy being with people who actually came here, used your skills, your professional skills, not charging anyone to make those videos, as you mentioned. You didn't charge anyone, and you did it to help the Mexican community.
Yeah. Well, to help the orphanages and the old age homes and whatever, animal shelters and whatever.
Yeah, I admire you very much for that. So, with that, in closing, is there anything else you'd like to say? Anything else you'd like to say? Any final thoughts? You love it here. You're on the south side of Lake Chapala. The scenery, this is beautiful here.
The thing is, this is not for everybody, of course. Most people don't like living alone in the country. And, they look at me like I'm an old hermit, which is true. I am. And but the thing is, if they want to live in towns, then that's fine. Most people want to live in a town or something.
Yep.
But not me. I like to live alone in the country.
Yeah, and on the other hand, too, you're not a hermit in the sense that you have friends. And I met some of your friends, your long-term friends. We've been going out and having coffee and things. And then now you got John here. John loves you. He's so happy that he bought the property next to yours. John, of course, for the viewers, we did a interview with John, and I'll re-upload that one. Just John loves you. He's very happy he bought his property too, right by yours, and it's huge. It's beautiful.
Well, that's good. Well, it's nice to have friends, to be around friends, people that you can communicate with and get together once in a while.
And I got a chance to meet your Mexican friends.
Yeah.
Your friends that were here earlier this afternoon. So with that, I think we're going to close. It's getting a little bit long. Is that fine with you?
Okay.
I just want to say thank you very much, Roy, once again. Pleasure to meet you. It's an honor and a privilege. It's such a fascinating man right here in the Lakeside area. Okay, you guys.
All right.
Thanks for reviewing. Adios.
See you later.